Parshas Balak. This shmuz is adapted from a shmuz of Moran Hagoyin Reb Chaim Shmulevich Zeichet Tzadik Livrocha. There are incredible things happening in this parsha. On one hand, it says in the Torah that Bilam Yodeya Das Elyon, he knew the Das of the Supreme One. He knew the knowledge of the Supreme One. He was way up there. And Chazal go further and say he reached the level of the prophecy of Moshe Rabbeinu himself. The same level as prophecy. Like Chazal say, V'leikom Novi Oid B'Yisrael K'Moshe, there was no other prophet by Klal Yisrael like Moshe Rabbeinu, B'Yisrael, by the Jewish people. Avol B'Umas Ha'olam Kom, but there was an equal to Moshe Rabbeinu in prophecy by the nations of the world. And who is that person? Bilam. So on one hand, he was way up there, Yodea Das Elyon, unbelievable. On the other hand, his whole personal life was hefker, does whatever he wants. Worse than the least of the least. Like the Gemara says, that the donkey spoke to him and said, Gemara in Avodah Zarah, the Gemara says, Sha'ani aisa l'chor rechivos bayom v'ishis baloila. During the day, I drive you around. At night, I'm your wife. Intimately. And the question is, how is it at all possible somebody that's Yodea Das Elyon, that he knows the ways of the Creator himself, is on the level of prophecy as Moshe Rabbeinu? How could a person on such a level, how could he stoop so low as to live with his donkey? How do we understand such a pella, such an incredible thing? Similarly, we find the same problem, same question. We know that Ro'asa Shivcha al Hayom Mashalei Ro Yecheskel ben Buzi HaKohen. When they went through the Yam Suf, the Red Sea, it says that the Shivcha al Hayom, the maidservant of Klal Yisrael, went through the Yam Suf and pointed, Zeh Keli V'Yamveu, this is my God, pointing to Hashem, sort of something meaning to say, like, to some degree they saw Hashem to some incredible level. Of course they didn't see Hashem, but Zeh Keli, they were saying, this is my God. They were pointing, Zeh Keli V'Yamveu. And on one hand, they had greater hasogos. They attained more in godliness than Yecheskel ben Buzi HaKohen, than the holy prophet Yecheskel ben Buzi. And what happened to this maidservant? After Kriyas Yam Suf, she went back to do sponges. She went back to be a shivcha. How do we understand such a phenomenon? That Ro'asa Shivcha Alayom Mashaleh Ro Yecheskel ben Buzi pointed Zeh Keli V'Yamveu. She was on a tremendously high. They were the shivchos were on a tremendously high level to be able to see Hashem to some incredible degree. Not really, but a high degree. And what happened to them afterwards? Back to Shivcha. It doesn't say that they became Dvorah HaNevias. It doesn't say that. Whereas Yechezkel ben Buzi did not attain in his prophecies, did not attain such a high level as the Shifcha al Hayom, as the maidservant, but he was authentic. He was a real Navi. He was less than them. And how did they resort to being nothings? So we have a double question, a double similar kind of a question. How was Bilam, who Yedea Das Elyon, who was able to have knowledge of HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, Yedea Das Elyon, he was on the same level in prophecy as Moshe Rabbeinu, could we fathom? And at night he was hefker. He was just living intimately with an animal. And the Shifcha al Hayom attained such high levels when they went through the Yam Suf, and what happened to them afterwards? Nothing. Back to scrubbing floors. How could we understand such incredible contradictions? How could it be? How could it be somebody so great should stoop to so little, such nothing things? How could it possibly be? Reb Chaim Shmulevich Zechet Tzaddik Levracha helps us out, and he says that greatness and holiness must be earned in order for it to be lasting. Bilam never worked on attaining the knowledge of Hashem. He never worked in it. It was just given to him. The Shifcha al Hayom also never worked on it. It was just given to them as they went through the Yam Suf. Whereas Yechezkel ben Buzi, HaKohen, worked on himself and earned prophecy. He worked on himself and earned prophecy. He worked on himself to rid himself of any evil in him, sur meira, sur meira. He worked on his midos. If a person attains greatness, it's only because he worked on himself to improve himself. If something is given to somebody, that cannot be lasting. That cannot be lasting. Person can be Yedea Das Elyon. He could know the knowledge of HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, and at night live with a donkey. And the Shifcha al Hayom too, she could see it. They could see, Zakeli Vanveyu, this is my God. And then, after that, back to mopping floors. True greatness can only come about if somebody works on himself and eradicates evil from himself, disciplines himself, and corrects his midos. Then any greatness, any holiness, any Ruach HaKodesh that he will have an effect. And maybe this is a message to us all. We must deserve greatness. And the way to deserve greatness is to work on ourselves, on our midas, and eradicate any evil, anything we're doing wrong, we have to correct it. Then, and only then, can any levels we attain be effective and lasting. We should all be zeicher to this. Amen v'amen.